Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today, hosted by Cambodia Chamber of Commerce and Reveres Academy, curated by Up Your Game 2016. Thank you for the participation. Okay, so today our topic will be the human perspective of innovation. Okay, if you can find us on our social media, Reveres Academy. We have our website, Facebook, and YouTube, and Telegram for all our previous and present upcoming webinar that we are having. So you can follow us, and you can see all the topics that we have done, and we will be doing in the later date. Okay, today our webinar, as we said, the human perspective of innovation. So we'll be talking about using human-centric approach in innovation and the factors that affect innovation and some examples on innovation. So we are glad to have Mr. Sunil to actually give us the webinar. Okay, Mr. Sunil is an entrepreneur and author, and also a certified NLP coach. He's a founder of Caliber Works and a startup business mentor, and he's based in Jakarta. So without further ado, let us welcome Mr. Sunil. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, over to you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. All the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, says hello to everyone. I'll just go ahead and play. Okay. Today I'll be sharing about the human perspective of innovation. And I hope I will, if my English is too fast, you can type in chat so I know if I have to slow down. All right. Okay. Why is it that we need to understand the human-centered innovation approach? Because I think the world today is evolving very fast, and people are making things or creating things out of impulsive and greed. How to control things, how to be very profit centered, not having the empathy on connecting to the users, connecting to the customers, connecting to the emotions. And after this pandemic, the growth for human-centered innovation has been amplified and accelerated with great awareness. Excuse me. So why is it important? Because this is the moment when researchers and product designers should be best friends. Before I begin, there is a quote that I really love, is that human-centered design is a philosophy, not a precise set of methods, but one that assumes that innovation should start by getting close to users and observing their activity, by Norman and Vergetti. What are the drivers of human-centered innovation? What really drives them? Okay. Innovation management in transition. Nothing happens overnight. It's a process, it's a transition. And the major drivers are social media, empowered consumers, and the Joyce Law. Why do I say this as an example? Because today every single person believes in the social media, in the information on the internet, rather than believing in the human itself. The social media and the internet has taken over decision-making dependency by at least above 60%. And trending products that makes people feel good is also coming up aggressively. And big corporates They are very concerned about utilizing or integrating the external knowledge to leverage their internal capabilities. As you know, corporates are very, very stiff in terms of creativity. But now they are beginning to open that boundaries. They're willing to accept that we need to learn more and we need to adapt with the fast growing awareness. What are the impacts for the human centered innovation? Back in the days, the major impact used to be in the traditional days is that passive consumer will use the testing tool so that we have closed. It's like in a room. You invite people, you do the research, you use the testing tools, you create close innovation, and there is a clear separation between the users and the innovation. In today's world, you can actually co-create together with the customer using platforms in the social media, and it's an open innovation, and it's more of a collaboration. It's not like very closed secretive kind of thing. So it's more involving every aspect, every stakeholder to create together a great innovation. That's the major impact in today's transition. What does this mean for the researchers? Sometimes we have to understand when we do innovation, we need to have the ability to ask the right question. So you start asking these kind of questions. How can I integrate consumers in the development products? Who is responsible for the co-creation for the consumers? How should I evaluate all the ideas that will come in? I am not a designer. These are for the researchers. Should I do co-creation project together with the designer? Because researchers back in the days are very egocentric. I'm a researcher. I'm not a designer. I know numbers. I know facts. Whereas designers are creative people. They use emotions in the creation. Do I need new tools? Now, these are the two different sides that needs to collaborate. Changing the role of the market research for innovation. In the traditional way, we used to ask and answer one way. And we have focus group like the one that I explained earlier. Today, it's more about listening and discussing, using tools that we can listen to the data from our social media, big data it's called, and also the co-creation. We can create groups, different kind of customers, some different kind of users, unite together, sit together, and work together. And the function of the researcher now has become more as a mediator rather than a translator. So this is a big shift. Now, in terms of designers, what does it mean for a designer? The same questions will be asked, whereas the designer has lack of information in terms of data. So now they can unite these two information and create an innovation with a soul or with a feeling or with an empathy that connects to users emotion and needs specifically. Changing role of product designer for innovation. Designer used to be a creator. We come up with an idea, we tell the designer, this is what we want, can you create something for me? That's it. Whereas today, we can actually create a prototype, we can share it on social media, we can actually test whether the user likes it or not, how many people can view this prototype, can view this design, and we can come to know what are the comments directly from the user. Back in the days, we used to assume things. But today, the world is moving so fast, so we can actually create things faster and easier and connect it directly and involve the user in the creation process. That is amazing. The three dimension of human-centered innovation is this. We should be consumer driven, we should be design driven, and we should be research driven. In the design driven, we should be more creative. we should be more open-minded, and we are solution-oriented. Whereas in the research-driven, we should be more analytical, which is normally as the researchers do. But this time, we should be more structured and need-oriented. So the solution and need should be connected. And the connecting point will be the consumer. Before we go further, I would like you guys to watch a video. What is human-centered design and why does it matter? Also known as design thinking and user-centered design, human-centered design puts people at the core of its products and programs. It's about designing with, and not just for the end user, aiming to truly meet the needs of the beneficiary, customer, or client. Just another buzzword? Let's break down exactly what human-centered design is and why it matters for the global development community. Human-centered design has its origins in the private sector in fields like user interface design and human-computer interaction. While the development community has long recognized the need for more participatory approaches, the sector still receives criticism for designing for problems instead of designing for people. But what does it mean to design for people? Before creating a solution, development professionals must thoroughly understand the problem by engaging with communities and individuals, spending time with them, listening to their concerns, and understanding the specifics of their lives. This process involves the rigorous collection of qualitative data, which is turned into deep insights about a target audience, and then is used to design a set of workable, personalized, data-driven solutions for each specific community or country. This means it's inherently built from what works in a given context, instead of trying to adapt an existing solution to fit unique circumstances. The next stage of human-centered design is prototyping. Prototyping is about getting ideas into the community to get active participation. Organizations can create a rough prototype that is introduced into the community for feedback and further refined into a pilot. This may seem like a lot of work before you begin to implement a solution. What makes it worth it? Development practitioners are already harnessing this approach at international organizations like UNICEF, philanthropic ventures like the Gates Foundation, and private sector development companies like Chemonics. Here are some benefits that they have shared. 1. It checks assumptions. Human-centered design helps organizations develop and build on new and ambitious ideas, rather than dismissing them out of hand before they have a chance to prove their worth. 2. It helps us cut waste. Human-centered design is a process that, if executed well, can drastically change the way we use and spend resources. 3. It helps us forge new partnerships. Human-centered design brings together different types of thinkers and makers, people who bring different disciplinary perspectives, cultural understandings, and creative abilities. Above all, it pushes us to get into a project with questions rather than catch-all solutions. As human-centered design becomes more commonplace in global development, here are a couple of things to remember as you apply it to your work. First, have a solid grasp of what human-centered design is before deciding that it's the right methodology for you. Do your research and look thoughtfully within your organization or project to understand if and how human-centered design could add value. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Rather, there may be elements of human-centered design that can complement and support what you're already doing, and other elements that are less relevant or too resource-intensive. Human-centered design is new to our community. Applying the method takes a shift in mindset. Be open, give it a try, and let us know how it works for you. Are you using human-centered design in your work? Share your stories on social media using hashtag #GlobalToLocal and visit globaltolocal.devx.com for more insight. Yeah, so now we will go to the tools. So as you guys have seen the presentation or the video earlier, that the human-centered design starts with the understanding of the other way around. Normally people will say when you do something, you have to focus on the profit, people, and planet. But when it's come to human-centered design, you should start with people, planet, and then profit. So you have to be concerned about the user, you have to be concerned about the environment, and then you'll be thinking about the benefits. Here are the tools. Basically, you will start with netnography is just a software that does listening for your researching tool, but there are so many other softwares that you can be using. You have to remember one thing, you cannot innovate today's users with yesterday's methods. It's obsolete. So you got to start thinking about what tools that can, you have to try out all the tools that is available and see what fits you best. And then from that, you can do the crowdsourcing platform where you can share ideas and design contests to see whether the users are reacting and interacting in the right direction based on your research. You can also use the lead user method where you can start using workshops, you invite the lead users, you can invite the company members, you can actually connect both sides, the creator and the users. So you can co-create together, and then finally you can create the co-creation tool by creating concept tests or building MVPs, and then the concept will be evaluated into several variations. So the final formula for a human-centered innovation is an external co-creation plus an internal collaboration plus the human-centered tools and method is equal to successful human-centered innovation. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to an innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people, the possibility of technology, and the requirements for business success. Thank you. I am open for Q&A.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sunil. Uh, anyone have any questions on the uh, webinar itself? It's a short webinar for today, but let's say, yeah, I think.
Was it
Any,
comprehensive enough?
yeah,
Easy to
quite
understand?
comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite straightforward and comprehensive. Anyone have any questions on the web on that you would like to post to Sunil? Okay, I believe it's short and sharp, simple. Okay, thank you, Sunil, for your.
Okay.
Yep. So today will be a short webinar for us, and simplified. And okay, we look forward to see you in our next webinar, which will be under employee branding next week. So whereby our speaker will speak more about how you do your employee branding, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so
Have
much.
a nice weekend, and stay safe. Yep.
Yeah. You too. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Yeah.